Jack decided to escape the chaos of the big city and take a peaceful vacation in a small seaside town. Upon arriving in the town, he took a walk along the beach on his first night, when suddenly the sky darkened. The sudden change in weather made him uneasy. As he continued along the beach, he saw a light in the distance. Curiosity led him to the light, and he discovered it was an old, decrepit fisherman's shack. However, the light emanating from the shack had an eerie, supernatural glow. As Jack approached the shack, he began to hear strange noises coming from inside. These noises included the creaking of old wooden floors, the moaning of wind seeping through cracks, and low-frequency vibrations from an unknown source. He leaned towards the door and peered inside. Within the shack, an old radio was playing by itself, and weird shadows danced on the walls. These shadows resembled human silhouettes, but disappeared in an instant. While Jack tried to understand what was happening inside, he suddenly felt movement behind him. He quickly turned around, but no one was there, though he had a strong feeling someone was watching him. This sensation made his hair stand on end and caused him to take a step back. As he retreated, he heard footsteps echoing on the wooden floors. There were footsteps besides his own. Summoning his courage, Jack opened the door and stepped into the shack. The air inside was damp and cold. The radio continued to play on its own. Jack walked towards the radio and tried to turn it off, but the knob wouldn't budge. The sound from the radio resembled an old fisherman's ballad, but the words were incomprehensible. Suddenly, the radio went silent, and the shack was enveloped in complete silence. As Jack stepped further inside, he found an old diary on the floor. The diary was composed of yellowed pages that were nearly falling apart. He started flipping through the pages out of curiosity. The diary contained terrifying stories written by the shack's former owner. It recounted the fisherman's experiences with strange events and dark entities from the depths of the sea. When Jack finished reading the diary, he felt something move in the shack. From the corner of his eye, he saw a shadowy figure quickly vanish. This figure resembled the dark entity he often saw in his dreams. When the figure briefly made eye contact with him, a deep fear gripped Jack. He ran out of the shack and along the beach. His heart was pounding, and his breath was quickening. When he got home, he threw himself onto the bed but couldn't fall asleep. Every time he closed his eyes, the shadowy figure from the shack appeared before him. The next morning, Jack was still shaken from the previous night. He questioned whether what he saw and felt was real. However, the vivid images and feelings lingering in his mind proved it wasn't just a dream. While walking on the beach, he encountered the old fisherman Hank he had seen the day before. Hank noticed the fear on Jack's face and approached him, asking, "What did you see last night, Jack?" Jack told Hank everything. After listening carefully, Hank said, "That shack is no ordinary place. The events that happen there are connected to the secrets of the deep sea. If you want to uncover this mystery, you must be cautious." Jack, even more curious after Hank's words, decided to solve this mystery. However, this decision would lead him down a darker and more dangerous path. Jack was filled with mixed emotions following Hank's warnings and the events of the previous night. Nonetheless, spending time with Hank brought him some comfort. Hank was a true master of fishing and had much to teach Jack. That morning, Jack and Hank set out to sea in an old fishing boat. As Hank showed Jack the intricacies of fishing, Jack listened intently to every word. However, his mind still lingered on the mysterious events at the shack and the stories of dark entities in the sea. In the middle of the sea, Hank took a deep breath and turned to Jack, saying, "The sea isn't just filled with fish, Jack. There are other things hidden in its depths." Jack noted the seriousness in Hank's tone and continued to listen with curiosity. "Hank, are the entities mentioned in the diary I found at the shack real?" Jack asked. Hank sighed deeply. Yes, Jack. Those entities are real. The sea is always full of secrets we don't know. Old fishermen knew about the spirits of the sea, and the rituals performed to appease them. But over time, this knowledge was forgotten. Now, they're remembered only as legends. Suddenly, the weather changed while they were in the middle of the sea. The sky darkened, the wind intensified, and the waves grew. As the boat was tossed about in the storm, Jack heard a sound coming from the depths of the sea. It was the same sound from his dreams. He looked at Hank with fear, but Hank calmly smiled at him. "Did you hear that?" Jack asked, his voice trembling. "Yes, Jack. It's one of the sea's spirits. They're watching us. As long as we don't anger them, we're safe," Hank said, without a trace of fear in his voice. Jack was filled with fear, but Hank's calmness gave him a bit of courage. They waited silently on the boat until the storm passed. Hank sat in a corner of the boat, muttering something quietly. Jack thought he was praying to the spirits of the sea. When the storm subsided, Hank and Jack returned to shore. But from that day on, Jack felt that nothing was the same. His dreams became more intense, and the visions of the sea became clearer. These visions told him the story of a mysterious entity in the depths of the sea. Jack tried to understand who this entity was and why it was calling him. One night, unable to resist the call of the sea, Jack went to the shore. When he entered Hank's shack, he noticed Hank wasn't there. However, inside the shack, he found an old map. This map pointed to a location in the middle of the sea. Jack decided to find this location. Hank's absence worried Jack, but the map he found in the shack made him even more curious. Jack prepared himself to find the marked spot on the map. Before setting out to sea, he found Tom, one of Hank's fisherman friends. Tom was an old friend of Hank and knew a lot about him. "Hank left this map. I need to find him," Jack said, showing Tom the map. Tom looked at the map, and his face grew serious. "This place is one of the most dangerous areas of the sea. Only the brave can survive there. Hank did everything he could to protect you. But this is your fate," he said. Jack took courage from Tom's words and set out to sea. When he reached the spot marked on the map, he was ready to face the secrets of the deep sea. However, this journey would also bring great danger. One morning, Hank invited Jack on a major fishing expedition. They boarded an old fishing boat and set out to sea. The boat, worn by years of use, still appeared strong and resilient. On the deck, there were rusty fishing gear, old nets, and other equipment that Hank had used for years. As they ventured toward the center of the sea, the weather was clear and calm. However, the slowly gathering clouds in the sky heightened Jack's unease. Hank began to tell Jack about an old sea legend. According to this legend, a spirit living in the sea cursed those who harmed it. Jack shivered at the tale, but listened without questioning the truth behind Hank's words. The story Hank told was like a fable passed down through generations among the townspeople. The sea spirit was born from the anger of a fisherman whose name no one remembered. This fisherman had vanished during a great storm years ago, and his spirit had become trapped in the depths of the sea. According to the legend, the spirit demanded a sacrifice every year and was considered the source of the unrest in the sea. As Hank recounted the legend, his voice grew somber, and a serious expression settled on his face. In the middle of the sea, the weather suddenly changed. The sky darkened, the wind intensified, and the waves grew. As the boat was tossed about in the storm, Jack heard a sound coming from the depths of the sea. It was the same sound from his dreams. He looked at Hank with fear, but Hank calmly smiled at him. There was a strange gleam in Hank's eyes, as if he knew everything beforehand. As the storm grew fiercer, Hank walked to the back of the boat and opened an old chest. He retrieved a map covered in strange symbols. When Jack looked at the map, he saw indecipherable marks and a spot indicated in the middle of the sea. Hank handed the map to Jack and said, "This is where the sea spirit is hidden. Reaching this point means confronting it." As Jack tried to make sense of Hank's words, the sounds from the sea grew louder. The boat continued to be tossed about in the storm as Jack struggled to manage his fear. Hank turned to Jack and said, "We must complete this journey. The sea spirit has chosen you." Feeling the weight of Hank's words, Jack took a deep breath and tightly held onto the map. He knew there was no turning back from this point. Under Hank's guidance, the boat continued to advance through the storm. Jack prepared himself to uncover both the truth of the legend Hank had told and the secret hidden in the depths of the sea. When the storm subsided, the boat stopped in the midst of a silent and dark water. The sky was still covered with clouds, but the intensity of the storm had diminished. As Jack looked into the depths of the sea, he saw a light coming from beneath the water. This light signified the presence of the sea spirit. As Jack prepared to follow the light, Hank gave him one last look and said, "Remember, this is just the beginning." As Jack tried to decipher the meaning behind Hank's words, he took a determined step to uncover the secret in the depths of the sea. Looking over the side of the boat, he felt the light growing closer and drawing him in. Filled with fear and curiosity, Jack responded to the call of the sea spirit, not knowing where this journey would lead him. When the storm subsided, Jack and Hank returned to the shore. However, Jack felt that nothing was the same since that day. His dreams became more intense, and the images related to the sea grew clearer. These images told him the story of a mysterious being deep within the sea. Jack tried to understand who this being was and why it was calling him. One night, unable to resist the call of the sea, Jack went to the shore. When he entered Hank's cabin, he found Hank was not there. However, inside the cabin, he discovered an old map. The map marked a point in the middle of the sea. Jack decided to find this point. As Jack studied the map he found in the cabin that night, he was mesmerized by the symbols and markings on it. The map indicated the location of a hidden treasure in the depths of the sea. But this treasure was not an ordinary one. It was a cursed treasure guarded by the sea spirit mentioned in the legends. The more Jack examined the map, the faster his heart raced. Memorizing the coordinates of the marked spot, he decided to set out at first light. He prepared to embark on a journey into the depths of the sea, borrowing Hank's boat for the expedition. At dawn, Jack reached the shore and boarded Hank's boat. He started the engine and headed towards the point indicated on the map. The surface of the sea was calm, but the storm inside Jack did not subside. In his mind, the call of the sea spirit echoed. As the journey progressed, the weather gradually began to change. The sky was covered with clouds, and the wind began to blow gently. As Jack neared the point marked on the map, he felt a pull from the depths of the sea. This feeling both frightened and intrigued him. Finally, when he reached the point indicated on the map, he stopped the boat and began to look into the depths of the sea. The water's surface had turned dark under the shadow of the clouds. Jack saw a glow coming from beneath the water. This glow signaled the presence of the sea spirit. Jack leaned over the edge of the boat and tried to get a closer look at the glow under the water. As he focused on the water, he saw a shape rising from the depths. This shape was the form of the sea spirit. The spirit was looking up at Jack from beneath the water and whispering something to him. Despite wanting to retreat in fear, Jack found himself moving closer to the water. The sea spirit's whispers echoed in his mind. "Come, find me. Solve the secret." Unable to resist this call any longer, Jack took a deep breath and plunged into the water. As the water enveloped him, he felt the sea spirit pulling him in. The deeper he went, the colder the water became, but Jack continued to swim with determination. In the depths of the sea, as he approached the glow, Jack saw the treasure guarded by the sea spirit. The treasure chest was covered in seaweed and was ancient. As Jack approached the chest, the whispers of the spirit grew stronger. "Open! Find the truth!" With trembling hands, Jack opened the chest. Inside, there were antique jewels, gleaming gold, and old scrolls. However, the most striking item was a scroll. Jack took the scroll and unrolled it. On the scroll was written the story of the sea spirit. According to the scroll, the sea spirit was the soul of a fisherman who had vanished in a great storm years ago and was trapped in the depths of the sea. This spirit cursed anyone who ventured out to sea in revenge. However, the true story was that the spirit was a hero who had sacrificed himself to protect the townspeople. The townspeople had forgotten this truth and had seen the spirit as a threat. Upon learning this truth, Jack understood the spirit's pain and anger. Rising from the depths, he decided to do what was needed to bring peace to the spirit. When he surfaced again, the sky was still dark, but Jack felt a sense of enlightenment within him. Returning to the boat, he held the scroll tightly and headed back to the shore. When he returned to Hank's cabin, Hank was waiting for him. Seeing the expression on Jack's face, Hank understood the truth and embraced him. "You did it," Hank said. "You brought peace to the sea spirit." Jack felt relief from Hank's words and decided to share the story of the sea spirit with the whole town. This story would help the townspeople rediscover their past and their connection to the sea. Jack had ended the sea spirit's curse and brought peace to the town. However, this journey had deeply affected his life and strengthened his bond with the sea. Jack, now living in harmony with the sea, had embarked on a new life as the protector of the sea spirit. Jack boarded Hank's boat and headed towards the spot marked on the map. There, he discovered a hidden treasure in the depths of the sea. This treasure was guarded by the sea spirit and brought curses upon those who sought it. When Jack found the treasure, he realized that Hank was actually the guardian of this spirit, trying to keep it away from the treasure. However, Jack's curiosity and commitment to the call had driven him into this dangerous exploration. As Jack boarded Hank's boat and set sail towards the marked spot, he had many questions on his mind. The sea appeared calm in the middle, but Jack could not shake off his feeling of unease. As he approached the spot indicated on the map, he felt a pull from the depths of the sea. When he reached the location shown on the map, Jack looked at the surface of the sea and saw a glimmer in the depths. This glimmer indicated the treasure. Leaning over the edge of the boat, he put on his diving mask and gear. Taking a deep breath, he dove into the water and began swimming towards the depths of the sea. As he progressed underwater, he felt the presence of the sea spirit. There was a strange energy around him, as if something was about to happen. As he approached the glimmer, he saw an old chest covered in seaweed. Around the chest, sea creatures were moving, seemingly guarding it. When Jack got closer to the chest, he felt his heart racing. With trembling hands, he opened the chest. Inside were ancient jewels, gold, and scrolls. However, the most striking item was a scroll describing the story of the sea spirit. Jack carefully unrolled the scroll and began to read. According to the scroll, the sea spirit was the soul of a fisherman who had been lost in a great storm years ago and trapped in the depths of the sea. This fisherman had sacrificed himself to protect the townspeople, and his soul had remained unrestful in the depths. The sea spirit cursed anyone who ventured into the sea, but the true story was that this spirit was actually a hero. Upon learning this truth, Jack understood the spirit's pain and anger. The scroll also described the ritual needed for the spirit to find peace. Jack decided to perform the ritual. Holding the scroll tightly, he swam back to the surface. When he emerged, the sky was dark, and the wind had picked up. Jack returned to the boat and began preparations to perform the ritual. When he got back to Hank's cabin, Hank was waiting for him. Jack explained the contents of the scroll to Hank, and they decided to perform the ritual together. They lit a fire on the beach and followed the instructions on the scroll to complete the ritual. This ritual was necessary for the sea spirit to find peace and end the curse. Once the ritual was completed, they felt that the sea spirit had found peace. Jack sensed the presence of the sea spirit one last time and noticed that it had vanished with a feeling of gratitude. Jack reflected on how this experience had changed his life and realized that his bond with the sea had become even stronger. Hank turned to Jack and smiled. "You are now a part of the sea," he said. Jack pondered the meaning of these words and understood how important the secrets and stories of the sea truly were. When Jack returned to the town, he shared the story of the sea spirit and his experiences with the townspeople. The townspeople were moved by Jack's story and rediscovered their connection with the sea. The curse of the sea spirit was lifted, and peace and tranquility had returned to the town. Jack had discovered both himself and the secrets of the sea during this process. Now, as the guardian of the sea, he embarked on a new life, and his mystical bond with the sea would continue to offer new adventures and discoveries. When Jack came face to face with the sea spirit, the spirit told him that he had to pay the price for past mistakes. By correcting these mistakes and showing respect to the sea spirit, Jack managed to end the curse. However, this process deeply affected his life and further strengthened his bond with the sea. After completing the ritual, Jack was sitting on the beach with Hank. The sky was now clear and filled with stars, and the sea was calm and peaceful. Yet, Jack still felt that something was missing. Inside him, there was a sense that the sea spirit wanted to reach out to him one last time. That night, Jack dreamt of the sea spirit again. The spirit instructed Jack to go to a cave and undergo one final test there. Jack knew he could not ignore this call when he woke up. He told Hank about his dream, and they decided to go to the cave together. The cave was located a little outside the town, by the seaside. As they reached the cave, they felt a chilling cold as they entered. As they descended into the cave, they saw ancient symbols and inscriptions on the walls. These inscriptions told the story of the sea spirit and how to confront it. When they reached the deepest part of the cave, they encountered a large pool. The water in the pool shimmered with the reflection of the moonlight. Jack approached the edge of the water and, looking into it, saw the silhouette of the sea spirit. The spirit was looking at Jack and speaking to him. "Jack," said the spirit, "you are here to pay the price for past mistakes. Everyone who sought this treasure acted with greed and ambition, but you came to learn the truth and bring peace." As Jack listened to the spirit, a beam of light rose from the water. This light was the spirit's energy and was moving towards Jack. Jack reached out his hands to accept this energy, and the light gathered in his palms. This energy contained the spirit's power and knowledge. "With this power, you will bring peace to the town and the sea," said the spirit. "But remember, this power comes with great responsibility." After accepting the spirit's energy, the cave was illuminated. The symbols on the walls began to glow, and the cave started to shake. As Jack and Hank exited the cave, they saw that the entrance was beginning to close. They quickly got outside, and the cave sealed completely, marking the sea spirit's finding of peace. Jack turned to Hank and said, "The sea spirit has now found peace, but its story and power will continue to live with us." Hank nodded in agreement. "Yes," he said, "this town and the sea will now start anew. And you, Jack, will always be here as the guardian of the sea." When Jack returned to the town, he shared his experiences with the townspeople. The story of the sea spirit and Jack's bravery deeply moved the people. The town rediscovered its connection with the sea and created new rituals to show their respect for the sea spirit. Now, special ceremonies were held each year to honor the sea spirit, and they continued to live in peace with the sea. Jack's mystical bond with the sea grew stronger with each passing day. He was now recognized as the guardian of the sea, and continued to protect the town and the sea using the spirit's power and knowledge. Jack's story became a legend that inspired not only the townspeople but also sailors everywhere. For the rest of his life, Jack continued to tell the story of the sea spirit and his connection with it. Each day, he deepened his bond with the sea, exploring the true meaning and power of the sea and its spirit. And so, Jack's story lived on forever as the tale of a hero who discovered and protected the mystical bond with the sea.